Okay, friends. Now, yes, we're gonna get back quickly. So, I want to quickly ask you. You had the opportunity to talk to each other, maybe to explore some different ideas. What did you gather about the idea of the revival of the dead? What's the meaning of that?
Revival of the relationship between people.
Revival of the relation between people. So I want to hold for 1 second and say that rabbinical Judaism, initially, and when they were thinking about the revival of the dead, I think they were thinking about that. They really tried to kind of put like an idea that would hit that, and that's so there are a bunch of places in our tradition in which this idea is mentioned. It's not the biggest idea we have in our tradition. It's there in several places. The book of Daniel, in Ezekiel, it's there. There are places, there are verses that we have in the Midah that we chant that symbolize the same, but they don't say the word death, so we didn't change those. But, you know, "Umekayem emunato liyeshenei afar." He fulfills its promise for those that are sleeping in dust. Same thing. Daniel, same thing. So when we chant that, we sing it with no problem. We don't change the words. And the reason is because it doesn't say the word metim, dead. Now, the rabbis probably at the beginning were aiming to that. But were they aiming only at that? No, right? Like we saw that there are other possibilities. There's a possibility in which they are talking about waking up in the morning and reconnecting with your body and reconnecting with the notion of self, which is kind of a revival of the dead. The people that say sometimes people say, well, 2,000 years ago, people thought that when you go to sleep, you die. No, they thought that you were going to sleep. So, but there was an idea of mindfulness and returning and reconnecting with our life experiences when we were awake. And that's why we say, in Modeh Ani, Shechesarta benishmati, that you have returned, you have restored my soul to me in mercy. That's the meaning of what we are chanting there, and that's what we are acknowledging. And in which other context the rabbis kind of acknowledged the fact that you can recite this blessing, Mechayem Etim, giving gratitude for the revival of the dead? The story of the mom and the daughter cooking together. It was beautiful during the pandemic, those that were mindful of that custom. And when I got to see some people that I didn't see for a long time, I actually said, Baruch atah Hashem mechayem metim. Blessed are you, Adonai, for reviving the dead. Like, so glad to see some people, to reconnect with some people. And that's the blessing you say, actually. It's that beautiful. Now, so we do acknowledge that it can be used for other things, and for the modern thinker, it works nicely, right? Kind of, it's more new agey, it's more comfortable, and we can keep it there. On the other hand, that's not really what the rabbis were talking about. And there's an interesting thing. I don't know if you notice the Midrash Teilim, which is on page 4. And this is one of the points that I want you to carry, or I want you to reflect on. In the Midrash Teilim, the rabbis are praying for things that they don't really believe are actually possible. When they are saying in Birkat Hamazon, and they are acknowledging and praying for the rebuilt Jerusalem, amen. Like, they saw the destruction of Jerusalem. They don't think that Jerusalem is going to be rebuilt anytime soon. They don't have a project. They don't have the plans. They don't have the means. They're not even there. And the reason they're saying that is because they really want to think about that. There's a place, there's a moment in which they don't have the obligation to embrace the world exactly as it is. They have the permission to think and to pray for the world that they would like to experience. Now, if you go back to the second part of Rabbi Kanfer, I want to read you like the part that I put in bold. One of the aims of prayer is to cultivate, he says, a sometimes irrational hope for a different future. In giving words to this hope, prayer can highlight the contrast between the way the world is, in this case, full of death and tragedy, and the way the world could be, death not having the final word. The coming of that reality, he says, is also a focus of my prayer. We often hear, in the context of conversations around the high holidays, that people struggle with the liturgy. I've been in this conversation so many times. People say, look, I really struggle to believe what the text says. Me too. More than a struggle. Like if I needed to sign on a siddur, on a prayer book, as a theological statement, as a set of beliefs that I say, this is exactly what I believe in, I wouldn't. That's not only me. That's the rabbis too. That's Jewish tradition. As a matter of fact, modern research, I had the privilege to study in Haifa University, and we have some scarcity of professors because it was Haifa and not Jerusalem, right? But those that we had were like phenomenal. Like, we have like a dream team. So one of the leading scholars in the research of Rambam, of Maimonides, was my professor of medieval Jewish philosophy. He's pretty famous. His name is Menachem Kellner. So Menachem had he spoke in Hebrew, but it was a coincidence because his accent was so strong. And every single, I actually can speak Rambam in Hebrew with an American accent, but that's for a different conversation, Josh. Anyway, so Professor Kellner, it was really fun actually. Had, has one of his main argument is, Rambam wrote 13 principles of Jewish faith. You know for whom Rambam wrote it? It's not for the Jews. He wrote it for those that were around the Jews. Because we are not dogmatic. There's not such a thing in Jewish tradition as a set of beliefs that you are supposed to follow. Certainly not the Siddur is one of them. And the strongest argument that Professor Keller used to make, and he still does, was that out of 13 principles of Jewish faith, Rambam, Maimonides himself, believed the first 4. And all the rest were a political statement. That was, and he proves that the way he does that. He says, okay, these are the 13 principles he wrote, and this is his philosophy book, Moreh Nebuchim, the guy for the perplexed. This is what he really believes in. This doesn't meet those needs. And I want to talk about, for one more minute, about that duality, the duality of holding a set of beliefs when we walk around in the world, and at the same time being able to articulate things that they are not necessarily those that we believe in, but those that are representative of the world that we would like to experience. I want to invite you to look at the Siddur the Machzor during Yom Kippur. You're going to be sitting in services for many hours. You'll find yourself navigating the Machzor. I want to invite you to recognize the Machzor as an invitation not to define a set of beliefs, but rather to imagine the world as you would like to experience it. Shabbat Shalom.
So there's a handout with the Torah reading for this morning on it, so that you can follow along. We don't have to bring any Kumashim with us. So, Ya'amod Daniel ben Shalom Harishon. No, it's good.
By the way, if you are curious, the 13 principles of faith made it to the Siddur. And they are under a song, page 630 something, called Igdal. They are kind of a transformation of what Rambam wrote. They're there.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavorach. Baruch Adonai HaMavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
So we're starting with verse 19.
Amen. Vayar Adonai vayinatz mika'as panav uvnotav vayomer astira fanai mehem ma'acharetam hitor tachpuchot hema banim lo emun bam הם קינאוני ולא אל כי עשוני בהבלתם ואני אקניהם ולא עם בגוי נבל אך יששם.
Right there.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah te'emet v'chayei olam natan b'toveinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
יעמדו ירא אביבה בת אהרון ואסתר סורה ודוד אברהם בן זלמן וציפורה השני. אמן. כי אש קרחה באפי ותיכר עד שאור תחתית ותאכל ארץ ויבולה ותלהט מוסדי הרים אספה עלי מוראות חיצי אכלה בם מזי רעב ולחומי רשף וכתב מרירי ושל בהמות אשלח בם עם חמת זוחלי עפר מחוץ תשקל חרב ומחדרים אימה גם בחור גם בתולה יונק עם איש צבא. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Ta'amod bracha tova bat Yisrael v'Shoshana hashlishi. Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kadar Banu Mo'ekol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. Amen. Amarti Avehem Ashbita Me'enosh Zichram Lule Kas Oyev Agor Penikru Penikru Tsaremo Penyomru Yadenu Rama Velo Adonai Pa'al Kozot Ki Goy Avad Eitzot Hema Ve'ein Bahem Tivuna Luho Hachmo Yashkilu Zot Yavinu La'acharetam. Olam natan b'tocheinu, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. Ya'amdu Ashira bat Avraham b'Sarah v'Yehoshua Simcha ben Avram Moshe v'Nitzan Ana haRevi'i.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarah.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה בעצם היום הזה לאמור עלה אל הר העברים הזה הר נבו אשר בארץ מואב אשר על פני יריחו וראה את ארץ כנען אשר אני נותן לבני ישראל לאחוזה ומות
בהר אשר אתה עולה שמה, והאסף אל עמך כאשר מת אהרון אחיך בהר ההר, ויאסף אל עמיו על אשר מעלתם בי בתוך בני ישראל במריבת קדש מדבר צין, על אשר לא קידשתם אותי בתוך בני ישראל, כי מנגד תראה את הארץ ושמה לא תבוא אל הארץ אשר אני נותן לבני ישראל.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתנו תורה אמת, וחיי עולם אתה בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
May the one who bless our ancestors will bless all those who came up to the Torah in honor of this Shabbat Shuvah in the beautiful Vasona Park, in honor of our community, and of course in honor of the Torah. May the blessed Holy One bless all of you with its blessing of protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from any illness, minor or serious. May you find success in all your endeavors together with all Israel, and let us say,
Amen.
we also take a moment to acknowledge those that are dealing with illness. We say, משברך אבותינו ואמותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את החולים. May the one who bless our ancestors will bless those who are ill. And if there is a name that you like to share, please do so as we go around the circle.
Bruce Roberts, Alfreda Massman, Gail Frankel, Scott Van Gundy, Daphne Talmor, Dave Stahl, Greg Herb, Sue Leiter, Berdine and Lee Coven, Margaret McGuan, Bill and Esther Linder, Carol Rosenberg, Debbie Pink, Richard Ravitch, Bernice Paris, Batya Peters, Mira Engel, Jenna Lyons, Rich Zabridger, Sandra Goldberger, Elise Musin, Gary Trumbley, Paul Jerry Miller, Judy Sutton, Robbie Reed, Nadia Fatinova, Judy Lewitt, Pam and Marty Ellman, Wendy Pittman.
הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם ולרפאותם ולהחזיקם, ישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, הצתה והגלה בזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored, their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say
Amen.
wish to all of them רפואה שלמה. Now yes,
יעמדו הגוללת יעמוד הרב ניקו בן יורם ובתיה תעמוד אלישבע בת אברהם בשרה. We rise as the Torah is lifted.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה. Devarim. Ashlosha Devarim. Ashlosha Devarim. Olam Olam Oleh. Ashlosha Devarim. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
So I want to share with you how this is going to end. It's going to end with Kaddish first. Symbolically, all our services finish with the reality of what we carry. But that's for a different day and different conversation. There's one service that we don't finish with Kaddish. You know which one? Yom Kippur morning. That's true. So tomorrow, on Monday, we're not going to finish in the middle because we are not finishing. So we'll recite Kaddish Avelim, and then we will kickstart the Tashlich part. We're going to go down. We are going to do 2 readings. We're going to give some time for everybody. You throw your rocks, you sing a song, and then we will have picnic. If you choose to have picnic, you might have picnic. We are all for free choice. And we are challenged by choice. Anyone else something to say about choices? Okay. So if we choose, we can go forward. Anyway, so we now want to dedicate a moment to acknowledge those in our community that are dealing with experiencing mourning. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim. If you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. Andy?
Here and more.
Joyce Levine and Lauren Janovich.
If you have a yahrzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year, in years past.
My father's father, Mayor Bethlehem.
My father Samuel Jablonski. Father Charles Young.
My brother Herbert Jr.
The congregation offers its condolences to Stephen Siegel on the death of his friend, Stanley Rich. We remember those who've been taken from us during this past year. Jerry Levy, Rosalie Berkowitz, Adrian Friedman, Trip Richardson, Eleanor Hill, Daniel Knipe, Sandra Koch, Generoso Benito, Marcel Cunningham, Madeline Salzman, Kevin Scott, Robert Kilgore, Dahlia Schneider, Michael Pleiner, Joyce Levine, Shirley Israel, Thelma Turner, Marilyn Graben, Alan Feigen, Jonah Anschel, Sharon Lowenbrown, Sheila Bamberger, Dr. Grace Deutsch, Clarissa Glotzer, Stephen Bornstein, Richard Kennemer, Ethel Shanker, Varda Tzatki, Rabbi Talit Shavit, Jack Long, Virginia Larson, Miriam Moorer, Bob Sturman, Lenora Wang, Adam Richard Spilka, Shlomo Isips, Howard Levine, Barbara Lombard, Claire London, Drago Herman, Merle Greenwald, Samuel Grinwald, Anita Cumula, Bryce Lyon, Edna Stone, Miriam Davis, Lauren Janovich, Janet Wool, Charlene Kilgore, Ezra Sati Tzatchi, Gideon Hoffer, Alvin Kramer Siegel, Volasta Vejanovich, Galina Butorina, Karen Imbalzano, Lillian Berman, Robert Bruce Myers, Abraham Karras, Scott Safadi, and those who died at this season in years past. Andrea Kielus, Benjamin Jackson, Bob Harrison, Charles Joseph Rath, Don Long, Edith Goodman, Fanny Friedman, Gilbert Weinstein, Herbert Sherman, James Gautier, Julian Falk, Larry Lazarus, Morris Miller, Nancy Friedlander, Phyllis Davis, Rebbitzin Ethel Sultan, Rose Drucker, Sid Schlossenberg. And now you can support our community by standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Avilim, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598.
יתגדל ויתקדש
שמי רבה,
ועמה דברה חילותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ויומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר בתרומה ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ובריחום לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה לעמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רמה מן שמיה וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום נברמה
ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. Yesichram Baruch. You may be seated. Now if you are feeling like Tashlich, this is it.
Announcements first? Some brief announcements?
Yes, I want to make an announcement.
Okay.
We're going to do Tashlich in a minute. And another announcement? Yes.
Diane is going to share
They're
some
prepared with
announcements.
announcements. I didn't realize. So, yes. Wait, no. Let's use this one.
Okay.
You have to rhyme them, huh?
Don't move it in that direction. I got it. Okay. I just want to say, after Sheldon's announcements last night, I don't see why we just employ him permanently. So we have a poem every week for announcements, and we will all be massively entertained by that. But I don't have a
He said
poem.
that next time he's dancing.
Oh, Sheldon's got this. And also, of course, the main announcement is like the day of awe, which so anticipating that more than most announcements we have upcoming, right? Sunday night, right? That Kol Nidre starts at 7:30. And Monday, Yom Kippur services start at 10 a.m. 10 a.m., right? Not 9:30 like
Correct.
we had Rosh Hashanah. And we have services at 12:30, at 3:30 for Mincha, 5 o'clock for Yizkor. Israeli programming at 4, family programming, 6:45. Everyone's welcome to break the fast. And then, of course, so beyond that, if you can think beyond Yom Kippur, we have Sukkot coming, right? And so next Friday, September 29th, Erev Sukkot, Shabbat service and dinner. You should register for that one. And Torah Study, regular Torah Study at 9:30. Next Saturday, right, at 9:30, and Shabbat service at 10. And very excitingly, 5 p.m., first meeting for the 2024 B'nai Mitzvah cohort families, right? That's very exciting. Yes, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom Mevorach. Thank you, Diane. Now, yes, I want to announce we are going to do Tashlich. Rabbi. No, but you're speaking now. I cannot do that.
Does everyone have a Tashlich sheet? No.
So do you have the papers with Tashlich?
Yeah.
Do you have those?
Yeah.
Do you see the text from Micah, from Micha? Okay, if you were wondering, where is this coming from? Here it is, the origin, the idea of Tashlich.
Coming to you, my dear.
Okay, in the meantime, we're going to read the text of Micha. Is there any divinity save you who forgives the sins and pardons the transgressions of the remnant of your people?
You do not maintain anger. Forever, for you delight in love, you return to us compassionately, overcoming the consequences of our sin, hurling our sin into the depths of the sea. You will keep faith with Jacob, showing enduring love to Abraham, as you promised our ancestors in days of old.
And as you go to Tashlich, we're going to hear this meditation, and then we're going to go and do it.
For Tashlich, I encourage us all. Think of a practice or attitude that you wish to change. In the world of action, what is it that you do or carry? In a world of emotion, how does that make you feel? In the world of knowledge, can you plan to do otherwise? Can you release it, or a piece of it this year? In the world of being, imagine the divine, or your own magic within, helping you change, and sum all of this up for yourself in one word or concept, holding your bread in hand. Focus on that word, and then throw it in the water and watch it wash away. Spend the year working on your plan to change. Let each sight of moving water be your reminder.
Amen. So we will now go down and move for Tashlich. I just want to put you an idea in mind. You have these two texts. I invite you to think first about looking back. Then, once you cast your stone or your stones, maybe you need to cast a few. Then think about looking forward, and then we will sing together the words of Ashivenu. And one more thing is that sins don't get washed in water. But when we have the ability to recognize something that we wish we could get rid of and give that a form, that's really, really a good way and a very tangible one to start and to trigger, to ignite a journey of return. So hopefully this moment and this idea that you hold in your mind and your heart as you cast your stones help you to do the work that you and each of us need to do. Let's go.
No. You?
I was thinking give it to your mom.
The safest path is this way. Straight that way.
So I'm gonna walk over there right now. But this kind of right down here. It seems to be inaccessible. Do you want to have a walk? Yes. Go.